Hello everyone, Caitlin here, back with a video blog. I had to get my mouse out of the way of the screen because it was right in my face. Um, and excuse the terrible yapping of the rats, as you can hear it in the background. I despise and loathe and detest any dog that's that doesn't look like a dog, that looks like a rat. I don't know if they're chihuahuas or what, but they're getting on my nerves. Well, there's been a lot of other things on my nerves lately too, um, which is the focus of why I decided to do a video blog because I wrote in my pen and paper journal today too, and it gave me inspiration to video blogs. So here I am. Um, as those of you with some or all of your vision can probably tell, I certainly look a lot better. I've been working for the past couple days on self care stuff. Getting encouragement from my boyfriend to, actually, because he knows very well how to take care of himself, and so he's kind of a motivator, the boot in my ass that I need at times, but I love him for it. And, you know, I'm getting to know more and more about him that I can open up emotionally and tell him all my deep dark secrets and that he won't judge me for it. And excuse the my my phone was notifying me that I have email. That's why you heard the Yahoo! But anyway, um, so, he's been encouraging me and he says, well, start simple, just at least if you do anything, just, shower every day, make yourself presentable. And I got to thinking and I was like, you know what? I know that's like one thing to start, but I do have a basic Fly Lady routine built up. Fly Lady's an email system that helps with like organization and stuff for those who don't have the skills. And so I started doing the Fly Lady thing, and which I've accomplished, and I've got a lot done, and I feel productive and more energized and like all kinds of stuff. But there is one underlying like mental health difficulty in that is that when and I noticed this last night, but even more so like this morning, especially when stuff I had on my bathroom, the counterpart to the bathroom sink, like everything nearly came crashing down, and I ended up trying to get out of the room to like save myself from flying off the handle, and I ended up running into the door, or like just as I was trying to get through the doorway, the door kind of swung and like got in my way. I mean, there was all kinds of accidental inevitable things that kind of came crashing all around me and happening that, some of it was my fault because I wasn't paying attention. I was too emotional. Well, I don't want to say my fault because I don't want to place the blame, but I do want to take responsibility for my reactions and my actions. And yeah, uh, you know, and as much, oh, God, sorry, those dogs will not shut up. I think they finally did. Ugh. Anyway, as you can tell, I've been dealing with a lot of anger and rage issues lately. And, ugh. Oh, great, they started again. Anyway, so, are you done adjusting? Sorry, this earphone with the mic on it. These things are so lightweight that you make the slightest little adjustment and they start going clack, 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 clack. And it's like, ugh. Anyway, about the anger at hand, every time I would, especially with doing the dishes or like just picking up and trying to figure out like what to put away where and how to sort things out. I would just get so like I mean the showering, the making the bed, the getting dressed, that wasn't so bad, but the other things like doing dishes and all of that stuff would just get so ugh. I mean I worked up the energy, I I did the cleaning that I was supposed to, but I just felt so much anger and so like it built up so much inside of me that I had to like you know I had to sit on my bed and like take some deep breaths and like acknowledge my feelings and figure out where is this coming from and how can I accept these feelings and how can I turn them over and let them go. And I know exactly where it's coming from because even though self care is a wonderful thing and I'm optimistic and I know it's a wonderful thing to be better at self care and like actually functioning like a responsible adult, I'm so used to either being a people pleaser and having like seeking so much approval and doing what everybody else needs and putting everybody else's needs before mine. I'm either used to that or I'm used to flat out getting neglected and just being alone and isolated and having like none of my needs hardly met. Or I'm used to the other extreme of, yes, as much as I did have loving family and they cared for me and they did the best they could, even with their own, we're all imperfect humans and everybody has dysfunctions. And, a lot of times their way around it was to just, they were so protective of me that they would spoil me rotten and do everything for me. Or if I didn't know how to do something and they didn't know how to tell me how to do something because they didn't know, like it just turned into, well, it wouldn't get dealt with at all. Like, cleaning my room as a kid, my parents would say, hey, you gotta clean your room. I would go up to them and say, how? And they'd say, well, we don't know and we don't care, just do it. And so I never had any structure with cleaning unless it was either like it got so bad that I had to clean or that I was feeling like a martyr who was cleaning up after everybody else's messes that they left behind, or that they couldn't care for themselves or they couldn't care for others and clean up enough. And then you have the situation I was in 2006 where I took in someone and, had a roommate that I shouldn't have had at all. And she was trying to help me deal with a whole celebrity musician obsession crush like deal that goes into my sexual related mental health issues. And her idea was for me to totally withdraw off it, like I was, withdraw off the music and withdraw off of like all that stuff, like it was a drug, and to totally go cold turkey instead of stepping down, and also that in order to not fill my mind with obsessive thoughts about, like, oh, I'm on withdrawal, oh, this sucks, oh, I need this, to comfort me, then it was, oh, you know, get down on my hands and knees and scrub the floor, you know, mop the kitchen, or like scour the microwave and get all the crud off of the top that somehow stuck there because a burrito exploded, or oh, and that's another thing that I just, going off on that tangent reminded me of another thing that was kind of a family joke, but it also sort of set the tone for how I viewed cleaning. Is that if I got bored with playing with my toys or doing anything, and if I went to my parents for ideas, they would joke and they'd say, "Oh, you're bored? Then go scrub the floors." And so then I wouldn't complain about being bored. I'd find something else to do that, oh, God forbid, was not cleaning. So it's that whole like treating cleaning as a punishment and a curse rather than the blessing that it's supposed to be. And just dealing with, I mean, And here again in this kind of situation, it reminds me of last year when I almost gave away the hospital name. Um, I know I've blurted out my town or my surrounding it. Well, I know people know I'm in the Sacramento area, Northern California, but I try not to blurt out the little details. But yeah, when I stayed in, well, I know the PH is for psych hospital, but the best way I can put it is SPH. That was the best hospital that I stayed in. And it was the best because it really made me take a look at just, because the whole reason that I sent myself there was because I was about ready to spill an overflowing grocery cart out into the street and spill myself out into the street with it and have the cars just run everything over, including me. And I was like screaming till the point of losing my voice just to the fact that I couldn't move an inanimate object over an uneven crack in the sidewalk and was having to hoof it uphill because I missed the bus and all kinds of out of control things. And, I realized that the whole reason I bark orders at inanimate objects or expect them to do so many things is because I've always felt out of control. I've always felt like, out of external control of my environment and my situations, which of course makes me feel out of internal control because I lose all self control and then just go flying off the handle. And, then because I because my heart kicks in and I don't want to have hatred for anything or anyone, I just, well, for anyone, any living thing especially, I, you know, I redirect it at inanimate objects when I come to realize that, I have to validate those feelings that tell me inside how much I just loathe and detest myself, and how much that if I'm not pleasing others and if I'm, only doing little things to please myself, and if I'm not pleased, then how worthless I feel inside. But then it's a whole push pull conundrum because I know better and I know that I am worth something. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be here. I would have, all the suicide attempts I've had, all the injuries I've done would have caused more damage and I wouldn't even be here. That I know there's greater things to come in the future and I've always been optimistic and had that bright future that's kept me alive. The thing that I'm struggling with the most is to have a bright and optimistic present. To actually say, hey, I got dressed today. I showered today. Hey, there's no dirty dishes because I kept up with housework. Hey, I can walk on the floor without stepping on clutter, and to be able to look at those things as accomplishments rather than like, ugh, I had to drag my ass to the bathroom sink to do the dishes, or, oh, I had to spend all that time crawling around on my hands and knees picking stuff up off the floor, or, I just, it's a struggle, and it's got me in, like, if I am somewhat bipolar, well, for one, it's mild, if anything, but I mean, I feel like lately I've been in manic mode. And yes, it's certainly a lot better than being in depressed, unmotivated mode, but I've been too motivated, which has got me too anxious, which has meant that I've had to rein myself in. I feel like, where's the cowboy with the lasso going, and reining me in. Oh, and speaking of things that need to be reined in, this video blog is coming to its, time of where it needs to get uploaded. So I will catch you all next video blog. And yeah, yep. So I will catch you all later.